Alright, what's up, everybody? My name's David. I'm running a channel or a series on a channel where I try to destigmatize certain disorders, mental health disorders, physical disorders, how it affects someone's mental health, and try to humanize the people afflicted with them. So, the whole point of this is to try to empathize with people and put yourself in someone else's shoes. So, don't look at it from like a look at it from an unbiased, non-judgmental point of view. So, with that being said, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jecibel.
Jecibel. So, where are you from?
Between Mount Vernon and Yonkers, New York.
Mount Vernon, Yonkers. Stand up. 914. So, what kind of diagnosis do you have going
on? When I was 18, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and ironically, I went to the school therapist complaining about not being able to sleep. And the more she listened to me talk, she was like, you know what you need to see is a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. She sent me to a psychiatrist, and they were like, oh, yeah, no, you got depression. And I was like, I'm fine. I'm happy. They were like, everything you've described, depression. Oh, and that's anxiety.
Okay. So what kind of things were you going through that made them say, oh, okay, it's not this, it's depression?
The mood swings I would get, between waking up on some days and feeling like, why did I get up today? The fact that I was having asthma attacks, but my inhaler wouldn't work. Turns out they weren't asthma attacks, they were anxiety attacks.
Oh.
So, I, for a long time, could not differentiate the difference between an anxiety attack and an asthma attack. And it was kind of one of those things where it was like, well, the only thing we could do is take the inhaler and see what happens. And if the inhaler didn't work, it was like, oh,
when you take the
that's
inhaler,
great. I just can't deal right now. I'm having an anxiety attack.
So they take the inhaler from you so you wouldn't have an inhaler at all, period? And that's how they would see?
No.
Because that would be crazy.
That's how I would determine for myself if I was having an anxiety attack, because they feel the same. It feels like my chest is closing up and like my lungs are going from this to this to this to this to this until it feels like someone's squeezing them. And that's normally what an asthma attack would feel like, and that's what my anxiety attacks also feel like. But that's like a not hypertension, but like a high tense anxiety attack. My anxiety attacks come in different ways, different flows. So it could be something like I completely shut down. It could be something like I'm just bouncing and I can't like focus on you. I'm looking everywhere else. Sometimes I will just ramble. And if I feel like you didn't understand something I explained, I'll explain it 5 different ways.
Okay.
Because I'm anxious that you may not have understood that.
Is there on your day-to-day going through life, is there like specific triggers that cause your anxiety, or is it just a root feeling that's constantly there? And through things it's brought out more.
So I am constantly in a state of anxiety because I'm constantly overthinking everything. So there's this non-stop reel of what if going on in my head. So because my brain's always running these what if scenarios, and it creates a new one every 5 seconds too. It does not help the the film reel that's already going in there. But between that and then it'll be something like that will take up so much time in my brain, and you'll just see me sitting there, and it's like, you're fine, you're just being lazy. It's just like, no, I'm freaking out right now, and no one knows it. And then it'll turn into, shit, it's been 2 hours, I have to be at work. And now the panic is physical, because now I'm rushing to do something.
Yeah, that's tough. Honestly, we were talking earlier, I don't really have those type of feelings. Like, I don't know, it has to be a different anxiety, because like when you said earlier, you said how you overthink things. Like, do you ever leave situations and for the next, like, you'll have a social interaction, and then for the next 2 hours later, you're thinking about what you said that entire conversation?
2 hours, more like 5 years.
No. So stuff you said when we
I will like sit there and think about something I said to like somebody. There was a customer passing like 2 years ago, but like, shit, is that offensive?
I actually do that too. Because I was saying that happens to me. overthink things after the situation happens.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I can relate to that. But so much as, like, it feels like your chest is caving in and all that.
Yep.
I couldn't even try to relate to that because that's so crazy. So it's always there.
Yeah.
It's always there.
It's like a knot in my stomach or a lump in my throat.
Okay. So when it happens, what do you do? Is there any type of coping mechanisms you have to either get yourself out of that situation? Do you have to, like, I heard counting things in the room. If someone because when you have an anxiety attack, you're going out of your body almost, right? Something like that?
Yeah.
Or at least mentally you are. So people try to ground you. What year is it? What's your full name? How many chairs are there in this room?
Yeah, don't ask me all that shit. Don't start asking me 1,000 fucking questions. All you're gonna do is give me more anxiety. Actually, being asked multiple questions repetitively back to back without a chance to answer you gives me anxiety.
Okay.
Because, and I will respond one of two ways. I'll either start crying because I'm overwhelmed, or I'll snap on you because I feel like I can't breathe.
Copy.
So,
but would that help though? Trying to bring you back down?
Asking me questions would just make it worse because I'm trying to focus on answering them and you're asking too many.
Okay.
So when I'm having like hyperventilation, I'm shaking, I can't seem to like focus in a spot. What I start to do is I do what is called the 5 senses, and I'll focus on what can I smell in the air. I can smell the tobacco. What can I taste? I can taste that fucking Alfredo I had earlier. You know, what can I feel? I can feel the fur in my boots. I can feel the fur in my boots. What can I see? I can see the banner on the wall. What's another sense? What I went through: smell, taste, touch.
Hear?
That's another one. What can I hear? I can hear the cars driving outside. And that will essentially ground me because it's not other people asking me questions. It's not you asking me questions. It's me asking the questions and giving myself a moment to find something to focus on.
Okay.
What can I smell? I smell tobacco. It's fucking strong tobacco. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
like
Marlboro.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. It's like, okay, I can smell that. I can. The fuck did I eat earlier? Onions? Like, and it starts to kind of ground me because now I'm paying attention to little things around me and little things in myself, and it's like I'm no longer focusing on the thing that's giving me anxiety. I'm now focusing on. Was that a salad? Did we even eat lunch? Is that from breakfast? So now I'm not worried about the thing that gave me anxiety. Now I'm trying to figure out what is that taste in my mouth.
Okay. Do you think maybe it was something that like you were born with, or was there maybe a certain situation you were put in as a child that you could even try to pinpoint, or multiple situations that might have caused it? Like, what do you think, if you could try to think of where it came from, where...
I got bullied a lot. Like, a lot. Like, so much more than I needed. Yeah. From elementary school all the way through high school, I got bullied. So
I always had to fight people because I wasn't with them. It would come my way, and then I wasn't going to sit there and just, so I got in, like, the most fights in my grade in high school because of that. So I feel you.
Yeah. While I'm rough and tough, I'm also a big softie. Like, I don't want to have to fight you.
I tell them that all the time. I don't want to. I never want to. I don't want to, like, get...
yeah.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, it's like, I can't. I don't want to.
No.
Can't I just hug you when we say fuck it? Like...
So the bullying, like, that made you think, is it fair to say, like, you started caring a lot about what other people viewed you as? And then that probably brought out anxiety? Because if people are bullying you, they're obviously judging you or doing spiteful type activities.
It was more like, it was a thing where it became more of, why can't who I am be acceptable? Why do I have to morph and change and bend and break and bow for people? Why is who I am, who I'm developing into, this person that I'm trying to piece together and figure out and meet myself, why is she not enough? I don't want to be everyone else. Everyone else is the same repetitive thing. It's boring. I'm over it. I am my own person. I don't have a problem with who my person is. you have a problem. My person is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and I just couldn't understand. Like, I never could understand what about her wasn't acceptable. And there was a point in time where it was just like, I tried adjusting, and it's just like, this feels fake, and I'm not fake. I can't do that. This isn't working for me. So it's like I would find groups of friends, and then it just would turn out that they were either two-faced or people would end up moving. So I would end up losing whatever connections I did make. Mm-hmm. But it always came back down to, like, I'm still me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be me. You not liking me, while it hurts my feelings and I cannot understand why, because I'm not mean. I can't stop being her, because not being her, I might as well not exist.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be here, I should be who I am.
People, especially, the last interview I did, I was saying the same thing. A friend of mine has cerebral palsy, and I was saying how, like, it's... Oh, I'm getting a text from my phone. How, like, it was a cold place back. Like, high school is a brutal place, so people grow up. Depending on your high school experience, kind of is. It's sort of, at least for the first few years of your 20s, it kind of also affects how you view the world and how you judge it, unless you grow out of that situation. But it's a brutal place, and people, when someone is a little bit different than everyone else, it's a thing. Like, they got to point it out. They got to make fun of that person. It's some type of tribal mentality, something along the lines of that. I really don't know.
Unfortunately for me, it started in, like, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
It was, like, really bad in middle school. And, like, it was... So I did middle school in 2 different cities. I did middle school in Yonkers, and then I switched to middle school in Mount Vernon.
Both, for anyone not watching, both of those are rough cities.
Disrespectful is what they are. But it's where we from, so no matter what. But, like, I switched from Yonkers into Mount Vernon, and... Like, both the middle schools I went to are gone. Like, I started in Museum Middle School in Yonkers, and then I finished in A.B. Davis in Mount Vernon. Mm-hmm. So, like, I remember I started, like, a month late because there was a problem getting me in. And for, like, the first, I want to say 2 months, 3 months, because I started in, like, October, and then Christmas break happened in December. The school was, like, it always gave, like, a weird vibe. Like, everyone was trying to be welcoming, but, like, it was rather obvious that there was something underneath it. Mm-hmm. And I remember we came back from Christmas break. I stayed home an extra week because I got sick. And I remember I came back and, like, the entire 8th grade had a problem with me. So much to the point that I was getting bullied that I didn't want to come to school. It was to a point that there was, like, I don't want to say that, like, it was just a point in time, because it's not a point in time. But, like, I know that, like, my suicidal thoughts and tendencies started when I was 13. Mm-hmm. Because of that. Okay. That was literally, like, January 2008.
Okay. No, that's definitely rough. Like I said, school in itself is a brutal fucking...
Isn't that school?
I'm not supposed to curse.
Oh, brutal place. I've been cussing.
Oh, it's alright. We'll try to edit it out. I'm so used to hearing it that I don't even catch on to it until I do it. But, like, you want the video to be monetized or whatever the case may be. But it's alright. So you said it just wasn't a point in time. So is that better now?
It's consistent. It was really bad up until I got pregnant last year. That, like, up until, let's say, I just turned 28 this year. Mm-hmm. So, like, up until, like, my 26th birthday was the last time that I, like, sat down and looked around me and was just like, I made it another year. Like, I somehow managed to keep breathing for another 12 months. I literally made my 26th rotation around the sun. How the fuck did I do that?
Yeah.
How the fuck did I get here?
So then...
By the time my 27th birthday popped around, I had already given birth to my kid. I was too fucking exhausted and going, Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Took care that I was even turning another year, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah. wait, hold on. So did I miss? You guys have the same birthday? Or
No. By the time my birthday came around, I had already given birth. So it was hey, baby.
Okay.
And I would just go to sleep. Like, my birthday, I don't even remember my birthday last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it sucked. When I tell you, for the first time in over a year, I felt really, I felt so dark that I woke up the day after my birthday and I was like, why am I awake today? How did I somehow still fucking wake up? Not like I did anything to prevent me from waking up. I was just mad God didn't hear me. Like, nigga, I said, don't wake me.
Yeah.
And here I am at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then there's this tiny, precious little version of my face with blonde hair staring back at me at the foot of my bed. And it's just like, I guess we gotta get up.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I don't have any kids, so I don't really know what that's like. But you gotta do what you gotta do for the kid. Even if you're going through something, like that's one thing. Because I know so many people that go through different mental struggles and how hard. For me, I don't have a kid. I really don't do much besides. I work 60 hours a week, but
Jesus.
But like I'm really lazy at heart.
Yeah.
And I figured out, I'm not diagnosed with depression or anything like that, but I kind of figured once I started looking into mental health, I started getting into it heavy. Like I told you earlier, I started seeing like, okay, I don't want to sit here and diagnose myself, and I don't think anyone should either. But I was like, yeah, there's a common theme here.
Yeah.
And, I don't like getting out of bed. I don't like, so I can relate to that.
Yeah. I don't believe anyone should ever self-diagnose. I don't feel like self-diagnosing is the right thing to do. Those people who do diagnose you spend many years and many hours and much of their life and time studying that, knowing that, and training in it to know how to better help you and diagnose you. Do not diagnose yourself. See a professional and let them help you through that journey. Do not figure it out alone.
Many people also don't realize that there's a lot of two different type of disorders can present themselves similarly.
Yep.
And if you only read this one mental disorder on Google, and then you, I tell people all the time, like I used to Google things like, why is my snot yellow? And next thing I know, I think I have cancer or AIDS or something.
Yeah, don't listen to
you go down the rabbit hole. So
WebMD is definitely the one to stay away from.
Yeah. So you don't want to do that, but there could be two different diagnoses that present themselves in a similar way, and since you only found this one thing, you're going off the deep end thinking it's this when it could be this, and the differences would most likely be probably the reasons why you have either one, even if they present similar. But yeah, so that's a big one. One. So with suicidal tendencies, like anxiety and depression, definitely have to take part in both of that. Like you're not just feeling that way just for anxiety or just for depression.
Right.
It's both of them together. Right?
Yeah, I always say anxiety and depression are cousins, and they're what we like to call best cousins, which means all they want to do is hang out all the time. And they make a very, very aggressive party. Sometimes I wake up and I got a headache, and I'm like, nigga, I didn't drink last night.
Yeah, no. See, like I said, I have more of the depression, and so I feel like I do. So I relate to it more. But I also I see how anxiety gets people, and to me, I can't imagine getting like that because so when I was little, my mom has diabetes, so since I was 7 years old, it might be the first time I had to save her life because she'll wake up and her blood sugar will be below. It's supposed to be between 80 and 120.
Yes.
And if it goes down to 40, 35, that's almost lights out.
Right.
So I would have to test her sugar with the little machine. I had to prick her, test it. Then I would get I would either just get a whole bunch of orange juice. At one point, she just started keeping orange juice around.
Yeah.
What I would do is grab the sugar, dump it in the thing, fill it up with water, spin it up, swirl it around, and then I would try to lift her head as best as I can, and then pour it down her throat, literally. So she's sometimes choking on it a little bit, but you got to get it down there.
Right.
I think that might be the reason I was in such a high, and I knew the stakes. I knew what would happen if your sugar dropped to a certain point. And I think something about that, because it would happen once every few months. So it wasn't just like a one-time thing for years. And so when I'm put into a high-stress situation, I don't get like that. I don't get panicky. You know? In any type of, for the most part, I never get panicky. But for someone who has anxiety, it's much easier. It could be something as small as like stubbing your toe on the bed or not being able to find something, right? Right. And that might induce something where it's like a snowball.
Yes, like snowball effect. So anxiety is different for everyone. Personally, high stakes like that don't make me panic. I'm used to working in high volume jobs, from working in a restaurant in the city to working in the amusement park in Coney Island to working for Starbucks to working for a movie theater. Like, everywhere I worked was high pace. I can handle crowds. Crowds mean nothing to me. I can handle a snotty attitude. That means nothing to me. That I can handle. But I can handle a crowd if I'm the one behind the counter. I cannot handle being in the crowd.
Oh man, so it's a situational thing. It's a constant situational thing, man.
It is literally from one day to another. My anxiety chooses what it wants to be freaked out about.
Oh.
Or something like somebody that I'm talking to would be like, "Hey, we gotta talk later." My brain would be like, "They're gonna fucking roast you. You're gonna get flamed in a way you've never been flamed today. Did you know that?" And I'm sitting here like, "Shut the fuck up, brain's just like, you're gonna get dropped like a fly. Are you ready?" It's just like, please, why are we making songs about my utter demise right now? Like, that's my anxiety. My anxiety is like, guess what? You're in trouble. I'm like, shit.
So, but it's not like a literal voice talking to you. It's your own voice.
Yeah, everyone has their own little voice in their head.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because sometimes, like, that same thing will happen to me, but I guess I can shut it out better or whatever. But that same thing happens. The same thing happens to me. I'll just be chilling, and then, oh, this is gonna happen, or this is happening. Yeah, it might happen in like a love life situation, but I'm usually. There's one thing, because when that voice pops up, you have to understand it's fictional. It's not. It could happen. It's telling you based off things that might realistically happen.
I wouldn't call it fictional because that is your conscience.
Well, no, the things it's telling
that's
you.
Your brain.
No, I know, but I didn't mean it like that. I meant the things they're telling you are most likely not. There's a 99, even though the voice in your head is telling you those things might happen based off a realistic point of view, or that there's another 99 million possibilities of what might happen that might be way better.
Right, and it's only focusing on the goddamn negatives.
Yeah. So that I didn't mean fictional as in that. I meant to say that what it's telling you is most likely not going to happen. You know, even though in your head, I mean, once you realize that in your head, you start thinking. But that voice is telling me the things based on stuff I already know to be true.
Like it's happened before. It's gonna happen again.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a fact. So, okay, so we talked about anxiety for a little bit. How do you, with depression, so it's hard for you to get out of bed, or how does it display for you? Like,
so my depression is different in different ways. I actually recently did a post on my Instagram about it, where I addressed it, and I was like, depression is different for everyone. It presents itself differently in different people, in multiple ways in different people. One of my not so great side effects of being depressed is rapid weight loss. So and not on purpose, it's not that I'm choosing to not eat, it's not that I'm starving myself. I would literally be like, you know what the fuck I want? Rotisserie chicken. With like yellow rice. And just, gravy. Throw gravy on it. And I'll sit down with that amazing meal that I've been dreaming about all day. I'll smell it. And my stomach immediately is like, you don't want to eat that. I'm like, yes, we do. We've been planning on it for the last 5 hours. Really? Like, I literally just made it. Why would you tell me no? You can try, but we're not gonna. I'm like, we're gonna because I made it. Like, yeah. And I would go to eat 2-3 bites. My stomach's like, we're done. I'm like, we're not done. That wouldn't even have filled a toddler.
Oh, snaps. So that's wild.
And if I try to take that third or fourth bite, forget it. I have to spit it out. It's gonna feel like I'm forcing myself to eat. I'm gonna want to throw up. Like, and I love food. Like, you don't understand. For maybe the last 15 minutes, I've been thinking, yo, what am I eating when I leave? I love food.
Yo, that's crazy. That's
so to have my body go, nah, it's disrespectful.
Yeah. No, because the only time it's ever happened to me is I broke my back once and I realized I fucked it up so bad. And I was this is a crazy story. I'm not going to get into it. Yeah, basically, like, my stomach, I made a meal, and then right as I was about to go eat it, I didn't have the appetite for it anymore. But that was because, like, my body was slowly shutting down.
Right.
It wasn't like a thing, like, it was a physical thing, you know. So that's the only time I've ever done it. I've never, like, maybe I'll make too much, and I only want half of it, or a piece, part of it, or...
Nope, 2-3 bites.
Wow, so...
And my body will go, no.
Oh, that's crazy. That's wild.
It'll start telling me we're full, and then like 15-20 minutes later, it's like we're hungry. I'm like, I know we're hungry. I've been trying to feed you. You don't want to take it.
Yeah. So what else? Besides that?
So there's the rapid weight loss that I experienced. Mm-hmm. There's no in between. It's either all I want to do is sleep, or I cannot sleep. I will be up until 5, 6 in the morning, and then I'll take a nap, get up at 3, and do it all over again. I'm going to get up at 9 and do it all over again. Do like 3 hours of sleep. Yep, I'll go to sleep at like 6 a.m., wake up at 9 a.m. And then do it all over again.
And then stay up till eventually your body has to crash, right?
You would think that.
Yeah. I wish I would be able to work well, I sound crazy. I'd be able to work more, but I wouldn't be
No, actually, you'd be amazed. I do not have energy. I'm consistently exhausted.
Oh. So you're up, but not. Well,
and it's like I'm up, I'm tired, but like my body just don't want to do it.
Yeah, you're definitely lacking some sleep. Especially over a prolonged period of time. You gotta be lacking some sleep.
Or if it's not consistent insomnia where all I'm doing is staying up. Sometimes I'll sleep and I just can't stay asleep. I'll wake up every 15-20 minutes. I have nightmares. I can't remember what these shits are about. They just wake me.
Yeah, I hate those. I hate nightmares that wake you up. I hate those.
Terrible.
Because then I can't go back to sleep right away.
And it would be nice if it would wake me up when my alarm's supposed to go off too. Like, you know what? I had to get up now anyways. Like,
yeah, it would get me mad if it woke me up like 5-10 minutes before my alarm has to go off. Not only am I starting off the day wrong with a nightmare and all that, I gotta go to work soon.
Right.
They could have let me get 10 more nightmare minutes of sleep.
10 more nightmare minutes!
I was probably moving in my sleep more than I would be if I'm awake anyway, but...
I was getting my workout in. Leave me alone. So, like, nightmares, insomnia,
So either you're sleeping all the time or you're not sleeping enough.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not eating. I'm just not eating. I feel disgusted about the space that I'm in because everything around me is in disarray. And I want to clean it. I don't have the energy. I don't have the motivation. But I can't stand the way everything looks. Which then makes me more depressed because I'm not moving to fix the problem, but I can't move to fix the problem.
That's me. That's really me. That was me like almost all day today, honestly. But that was me. For sure. I do that all the time in my apartment. I'll have stuff over here, and I'll be like, I'll be laying down in my bed. Yeah, I'm going to get to it, man. But by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to get into it.
I can't tell you how long I've been putting laundry off. I have a basket and a bag, and then I have children's clothes. Well, one child's clothes, but like a lot of baby clothes.
I've been getting better at that.
Me and the kid are both missing a wardrobe right now.
I've been getting better at that. I have so many clothes that I would just get 2 laundry bags, and in 2 weeks they'd be full, and then I would do it. But now I do
outfit changes did you do in a day? That you had 2 bags full of clothes in 2 weeks?
No, it's mainly just work clothes.
That makes more sense.
Jeans. Yeah, I have a million Trader Joe's hoodies. So, yeah, it's bad. I have a whole, drawer full of them.
If it makes you feel better, the amount of Starbucks aprons I have is disgusting. I have storage underneath my bed, and I lift the bed, and it's like, Starbucks. American doesn't run on Dunkin'.
Yeah, I think I asked this earlier, but I can't remember what you said. So what kind of, what coping mechanisms do you do? to get through dealing with all that. You know, like there has to be like something like maybe you have an ice cream at the end of the day, or a cigarette, or hopefully not alcohol and all that. Or
No.
Drugs, but
so when it comes down to like, anxiety and depression are handled a little differently. To soothe an anxiety attack, I use the five senses.
Yeah.
So the five senses is smell, touch, taste, see, hear.
Okay.
And in the middle of an anxiety attack, especially when it's like a really high anxiety attack where I'm hyperventilating, I'm shaking, I can't seem to focus on something, I start looking for little things to focus on. So smell, I can smell the tobacco in the air. I can see the banner on the wall. I can taste, what the fuck is that? Onion? Like, I can taste the onion I ate in my salad for lunch. I can see, I said see, right? I said taste. I can feel. I can feel the fur in my boots if I was wearing my boots. I can feel the fur in my boots. I can, which one did I not touch? I can hear the cars on the road outside. And it kind of regrounds me to the world that is around me. And sometimes I only need one of those senses to completely snap me out of the anxiety. And normally it's taste, because it's like, what can I take? What did I eat? Is that an onion?
What's like?
Didn't I have chicken? Like,
yeah. What's like the immediate feeling you feel after that, though? After you it kind of calm down with the word, but once you like come out of it, or you snap back, is it like a disassociated type feeling? Is it like
almost? So like, it almost feels like I'm sitting on my shoulder, watching someone else kind of go back into the normal, and after maybe like 30 minutes, I kind of merge back into myself.
Okay, so
and like I'm one. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Because, and it's weird, because it's like, it always feels like I'm watching everything from like an angle afterward. So it really does feel like I've kind of like merged off to the side and my body's on autopilot and it's doing its own thing.
Yeah, that's a plot.
I don't know how else to explain it.
No. And I definitely believe you. I definitely have seen... I've actually, someone I'm close with has described a panic attack or anxiety attack very similar.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to know. So then, like I said, do you force yourself to get out of it? Because at least for me, when it comes to like depression and everything, because we were saying earlier, one of the differences people can, at least one difference I have learned to know about depression and sadness is that sadness, you can kind of, like, you ask somebody what's wrong. Like I said, even if they don't want to tell you, in their head they'll be able to pinpoint, oh, my ex just broke up with me, or I didn't get that job that I wanted, or whatever the case may be. But when someone's depressed, it's usually like over a prolonged period of time. I mean, I'm sure this is like your like you mentioned your parent dying. That would probably induce a huge depression.
The explanation I did for sadness versus depression is, God forbid, and bless your parents, but if you lose a parent, you can experience depression. You can go through a depressive period because it can make you depressed. You just lost someone who basically gave you life and has been there your entire life. For the most of us, and for whatever guardian raised you, would be the same feeling. But over time, after grieving and going through the process of grieving, while you may miss them in life, does not necessarily go back to what it was. It does become a new normal that you're comfortable in, and you live your life, and happiness will inevitably kind of flow back in. With depression, it's more like you woke up today feeling good, you went to bed feeling good, and tomorrow you woke up going, fuck, I woke up.
Yeah, and there's really no specific reason why. You can't.
Nothing triggered it, no one said nothing to you, nothing happened. You were fine 8-10 hours ago when you went to sleep. No one said anything to you. Your day was good. You woke up the next day, and the only thing you can feel is, I woke up today. Why?
What's the point? Last times I find myself asking myself, like, what's the point? What am I doing this for? I think a good way, if you can come up with the motivation, if you have depression, is to set goals for yourself. But then that's the thing. You have to find the motivation to
even
go through with it in the first place.
Yep.
Like, you know, I just started going to the gym, and that's something I haven't done in 10 years, and I'm trying to stick with it because I know the second I stop going, that's like one thing that I was the other day I woke up, I was in a horrible mood all day. I even told one of my friends, like, yeah, I'm in that mood again. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you even if you asked. I don't know what it is. I went to the gym later on that night, and I was, you know, whatever. I still was in that mood. I woke up the next day. I felt better.
Right.
And I don't know if that was something like maybe working out. My brain released certain. My dad's a bodybuilder. He used to tell me it releases certain chemicals into your body that make you feel better, like biting chocolate or something. Dopamine, serotonin, whatever it is. So for me, that's
dopamine. You're looking for dopamine.
Yeah.
Serotonin, I believe, puts you to sleep.
Oh, okay. So
I could be wrong. You could correct me.
Yeah. No, I don't know honestly, but I always get confused with all that. Some type of pleasurable feeling about yourself. So I think that actually helped. So I'm gonna try to, when I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna make sure I go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Just because while I still have that in me, I still have whatever. It took a lot to get the motivation.
Yeah.
And I told myself by the end, I'm like, nah. I need something. I need to focus on myself more. I need to do something for myself. I gotta do this. You know. So hopefully. It sounds corny. It sounds corny because everyone always tell you go to the gym. You feel better about yourself. But it's like
for some people it works.
Yeah,
it does. For some people, it does work. Everyone has their own vice or whatever escape. Like I write.
Yeah.
I love to write. I've been writing since I was 11.
What do you write? Like, what's your hobbies and all that? What do you?
Writing is not just my hobby; it's my passion. I've been in love with writing since I was 11.
What do you write? Novels? Raps,
novels, short stories.
songs?
I do poetry. I am never finishing projects, but consistently starting new ones. So, like, I recently, like, set up an Instagram page where I wanted to turn everything I was writing into audibles, essentially, and putting them up online. But it's just, I figured that would be the thing to help me finish something. And it did. It helped me finish at least one story, which I named Lie to Me. It's from the Lyrically Inspired series, which basically all of the stories are all inspired by a different song.
Okay.
Which is a really cool trick to use when you're doing creative writing, because if you can listen to the lyrics and the story a song is telling you, all you have to do is flesh it out. They gave you the skeleton.
Okay.
So,
that's dope.
Right, so I write mostly stories. Poetry, I only do it when I'm in really dark places, because it's the only way I can figure out to get it out. Mm-hmm. Another thing I do.
I do my best writing after a breakup.
Yes. Another thing I tend to do is remove hair.
No.
We just shaved my shit. And normally haircuts come with heartbreak, is how I say it. Me and my son's father broke up just a little more than 2 months ago. Now, going on 3 months. And for a while, I was just, like, leaving my hair. It was growing and growing and growing and growing. I think the only thing I did was maybe shave my undercut once. And that was it. And my hair, even though it's not heavy, you can tell, she thin, you know? She not heavy hair. But she feel heavy. Like, when I go through, like, a big emotional trauma like that, I guess you could call it, it feels like all of it stays in my hair, because my hair is where I like to receive the most love. Mm-hmm. So that's where all the pain stays.
Okay, so when you say you want your hair to receive the most love, what do you mean by that?
So I'm someone who likes to have their hair played with. Comb my hair, run your fingers through my hair, play with my hair. You know, in other instances, my hair is also involved. So, like, you know, stuff like that. Like, I love, like, I'm so weird. If you walk over and you go to the top of my head, it's the best part of my day. I'm like, so, like, it brings me so much joy. If you walk by and go, you had a good day, and I'm like, I have a better day now. Touching my hair. It's a literal thing, to the point that I would crawl up to my ex, lay in his lap, and go, pet me. So, like, my hair is where I like to receive a lot of love. And I don't know, maybe it's because it's, like, literally the top of my head. And you're, like, touching the top of my head. So, I don't know. I'm weird that way. That's my thing. So when I go through a breakup, I want to remove it.
Oh, okay.
Normally I go into a pixie cut. This time we're going Boha.
What's a pixie cut?
Just basically what I did for a long time was just maintain the bang and everything in the back was like fade.
Oh, I've seen that. Okay, copy. Alright. You like to cosplay too, right?
Yes. I've been cosplaying for 11 years. Started cosplaying in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I started con attending in 2008.
Con attending? What's like
going to conventions,
like Comic-Con?
Yeah.
And then con attending. You threw me off with that.
Yes,
I thought it was one word. I thought it was one word, like con attending. Like
it does sound like one word. The more you say it, sounds like one solid word.
Like condescending? Like
no, con. I've been a con goer since 2008.
Okay. Dope.
So I've been doing that a long time now.
I want to go to like a Game of Thrones one.
If you go to Comic-Con, you'll see stuff.
Oh, so if I go, I'll see Game of Thrones?
You'll see people dressed up in like Game of Thrones cosplays, and you'll see merch for it and whatnot.
I gotta do that one of these days. I gotta go.
It's not cheap, and New York Comic Con sells out super fast.
So New York Comic Con. So
yeah, but you would have to find like a comic convention elsewhere.
So I have to pay for the outfit and for the tickets to go.
And depending if it's out of state, you got to pay for your room and board. Convention
going
is not cheap. Let me tell you something. I went to the amount of conventions that I went to because I had a friend at the time that she drove. She worked at a lot of the events. So when you work, not every convention does it, but when you work certain conventions, you get like a buddy pass. And you can give that badge to somebody. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times that person you give the badge to can't room with you. So she used to always have like the hookup for extra hotel room, and like we would stay there instead of her staying in staff rooms.
Okay.
Things like that. So like I would get the cons for free. I would get there for free. I would stay for free. The only thing I had to do was feed myself. It was great. All I had to do was put food in my belly and stock up on merch, baby.
Yeah, that sounds.
My DVD collection got so fat.
How much would it cost to go to one? Like, $1,000. If it's like in New York.
In New York, all right. So if you're in New York, you could travel. Now this goes for anyone. If like it's in your state, you could just travel, dog. So you can travel, especially us. We're right outside the Bronx, so we're a kiss away from the boroughs.
Yeah.
So easily you can get down there. So let's say it's New York Comic Con or Anime NYC, right? You travel down to the Javits Center. You would have to worry about travel for 3 days, depending on how you're going to travel. You can take the Metro North, you're going to take the subway. Right? So you have to consider travel. You have to consider how are you eating, where are you eating. Mm-hmm. You have to consider your con badge, your entry badge, which you want to buy in advance, because otherwise you're not getting one. So you have to worry about the badge. And then after that, you have to worry about what merch you're going to buy. If you're going to go shopping at a con, first of all, if you're going to go shopping at a con, shop Sunday. Sunday's the best day to shop. It's the last day of the convention. The vendors don't want to haul all of that back home. They're going to give you deals. Shop Sunday.
You heard it here first. I like that.
That's what, 13 years, I think. Right? 13, 14 years of con attending. I should know better by now.
If it's 2007, you said?
I started in 2008.
2008? It's going on 14 years.
14 years. No, I made 14 years this year because I started going to conventions in like February.
Oh, I'm bugging. Next year is 2023.
Yep.
Oh,
so next year
on 15 years.
So next year we'll make 15 years that I've been doing it. Ooh. So Sundays are the best days to go. You get stuff off on merch. It's the shortest day too.
Okay.
Saturday's the funnest day if you want to hit panels and meet voice actors and meet directors and meet creators and all that. Saturday's the day to do it. But again, those are things you want to pay for in advance because you're not going to do it if you don't.
Copy. That's dope. Like I said, I always wanted to go.
I've worked plenty of conventions. I've worked security. I've worked registration.
I can imagine you with the keys.
Yeah, it was always funny.
You don't got your con badge.
It was always funny because people would be like, she's security, and it's just this tiny woman standing there like she gonna drop you, like she could drop you. And you just looking down at her going, she can't drop me. Like, I can. Don't make me, but I can.
Alright, so what else? let's see, what else do we talk about? Can you... All right, so this is a good one. Can you tell when someone else easily, like, can you tell when someone else has anxiety? Like, can you, like...
I get, like, a weird vibe normally.
See it in, like, their mannerisms?
Yes.
Or...
Almost always.
Okay. Yeah,
Don't mind me checking it on the kid.
Yeah. No, yeah. Because like, you know, I guess it wouldn't be like a superpower, but being able to, since you could probably, if you can empathize correctly, be able to see somebody and be like, oh yeah, I could see them. Because when my mom, she could be very stressed out. She has some certain tendencies, and I can see them immediately in other people.
Right.
Immediately, I can see it. Like, this lady reminds me so much like my mom. And I guess it could be anxiety. I think my mom got something else going on, but it could be like anxiety though. But,
right.
So when you see someone else, you can easily see, like, you can easily tell. Like,
so not always.
Not even when they're freaking out though.
It's not always. So I can't like look at someone and go, okay, there's someone with anxiety. I can't I don't have the spidey sense for that.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't work so much with strangers, but with like coworkers. So I had one supervisor. Congrats to her. She became a store manager. That's my girl. If she was having a bad day, it was over for me. I was having a bad day because I would pick up on that energy that she had, and it would immediately affect me. And like, until her mood improved, my mood would not improve. No matter what I would do, no matter who I would talk to, I would still be.
So it's like
the entire time. The moment she felt better, I would feel better. I had another coworker that is one of my closest friends that I call her my little cousin. Mm-hmm. I could tell when something was wrong with her. It was a different response. It would never be that I would never sync up to her wavelength. I would feel that it was off, and immediately be like, you need to come here. I need you to take 3 deep breaths, look at me, and tell me what's going on. What's happening?
Yeah.
I can feel it. You're literally oozing it. Something's wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So the energy is like transferable because you're.
Well, I'm very much empathic.
Yeah.
And it's like really bad with certain friends that like I've known for long periods of time that I'm really close to. I will be sitting in my house, just running my business, and suddenly I'm like, I have to call this one. Like right now, I need to call them right now.
Oh, that's more like a psychic ability. My mom,
I guess.
my mom used to say that she would randomly call me when something's wrong, and then there is something going on in that moment. She's like, I just feel like something's wrong. I'm like,
yeah. So like it's I guess it's a talent you can say I have, but it only works with certain people. Like I have to be in tune with you that way. Where if I get that, like, I'll be at home, you'll be at work, you'll be in a different part of the state. I don't even know where the fuck you are. And it's just like spidey sense goes off, and I'm like, something's wrong with like Kim. I have to call her. Mm-hmm. And I'll call her, like, hey girl, you good? You know, I'm just checking in. You know, I love you. And normally what I get is, actually, I'm not good. I fucking knew it. What happened? Who is it? Where do these hands need to go? Like,
I'm dead.
Or I ironically said Kim because I recently texted a friend of mine named Kim. Mm-hmm. And she was like, did your Jessie sense go off? I was like, maybe. I just felt like you needed to get texted today. I love you.
Yeah, I definitely don't have that. I talk to all my closest friends. I probably talk to them like twice a week. Probably. Like all my best friends, twice a week. Or like I'll see them, they'll come over. But yeah, I definitely don't have any type of ability like that. You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
I didn't get that from my mom. It'll be hysterical. Like I won't talk to you for like several weeks. You won't hear from me. I'll be just completely MIA. And then out of nowhere, on a really shitty day, you'll get, hey buddy. You know I love you, right? I know I don't exist and whatnot, but like sending good vibes, like.
So, for people out there that are going through anxiety, going through depression, do you have like? Because I honestly, I want to say this too because this is something I've been going through. A lot of times when I'm going through the worst mentally, or I'm the loneliness, or the most depressed or sad, whatever the case may be, and I just feel at the bottom, when I'm at work or when I'm around people, I'll joke and laugh and be, so people think I'm extroverted and all that, and I am to a certain extent, but I treasure my alone time. But for saying all that, I'll be laughing the most when I'm the lowest. I'm laughing the most at my job, or and I work so much that when I say my job, I see my job, people at my job more than I do my own friends.
That's why they say that the people you work with become a family. Because you spend so much time with them and so much time around them that's what it is. That's how it feels after a while.
Exactly. And you seem so upbeat, And I'm sure, like that's not the case all the time, I'm sure there's times. But
so I've always prided myself on being the entertaining one, or being the entertainment and hosting and maintaining everyone else's vibe good, because I never wanted to be the person in the room that made the room feel dark. Because I feel dark. I don't think that's fair for the rest of the room. And, I spend so many days, so many hours and weeks in time of my life supplying that light that once in a while the light goes out. And you just don't want to be around her. That girl, you don't want to be around her. She's aggressive. Because it's true. I get very nasty. I get very aggressive. You can't, the best way to explain it, it's like I feel hot. Because I know how I get when I feel too hot. If you ask me more than one question in an hour, I'm aggravated. You can't talk to me when I'm hot. I will snap on you. And I feel bad because my son's going to get to an age where he's going to have 50 questions in the middle of summer. I'm going to come back in an hour after every question. Because I can't stand being hot. When I'm hot, I just cannot handle communication. And that's kind of what being at my lowest feels like without feeling the heat. If anything, I have the emotions of feeling hot while feeling cold.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the emotions of the heat are there, but all of me feels like ice. I feel numb. I feel like my body's completely covered in frostbite, and you could do whatever you want. I wouldn't notice.
When you go into those modes, are you consciously aware of it in the moment, or is it something that you later on are oh no, I was in one of those moods. I shouldn't have gone so far, or whatever. You don't have to go that far with it.
I actually have a poem for that called "I'm Busy." And in I'm Busy, I go through this thing where I basically express what being busy looks like for me. And a lot of times it's just buried in piles of pillows and blankets, literally going through arguments with myself. I blink and there's the sunrise. I blink again and it's gone. I'm losing time. I'm losing hours. Time is going on without me, with me. I don't know what's happening around me. I can't tell you how many times, even recently in the last almost 3 months, where I'm watching my son and the next thing I know, I'm like, where did he go? He was just in front of me. This child did not teleport. What? And he's on the other side of the house. And I'm like, how long was I tuned out that you were able to move and I never noticed you? That's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's scary. Luckily, I don't live alone. I live with another capable adult that, he is no matter what being watched. He is no matter what being monitored. But sometimes, and I'm awake, I'm there. I'm just not there. I'm completely tuned out.
That sounds like disassociation.
Oh, really bad disassociation.
Yeah, to such an extreme that it might be something up, something more, something different. I don't know if there's any type of levels that come to disassociation. I doubt it. I don't think it's a disorder just based on disassociation.
If there is, I probably got that. Because Jesus Christ.
There's dissociative identity disorder, but that's
no, I don't have to.
Yeah, that's just another way for multiple personality.
It's it's the borderline of borderline multiple personality disorder. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. I am not a medical professional.
The borderline multiple personality disorder.
Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. I feel like they're cousins. But like I said, well, I don't have a degree. Don't take my word.
Well, borderline and dissociative identity?
Yeah.
Well, no, because it was multiple personality disorder until they had personality disorders. Then they realized that's misleading, so that's why they changed the name to dissociative identity disorder, because it's actually an identity disorder. But borderline, all the cluster Bs, actually I think all personality disorders in general, but I know for a fact in borderline it's one of the symptom criteria, but it's a lack of identity or something along the lines of that. So they basically don't have an identity.
So it's like the opposite. There we go. Okay, so you correct me.
Yeah. Like
I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no. That's just something I know. That's one thing I.
Yeah, it's just like a fact that you have stored in there.
No. I'm sorry. Well, borderline is something I know a lot about. Okay. But personally, I spent a lot of time researching it. But okay. But they definitely. It sounds like you have a long time of disassociating. A long period of time of disassociating is wild, because then so you don't recollect anything you're going through in that time.
No, and it's not like I'm moving around either. I'm just like kind of frozen in a spot, almost like I'm idle. I'm idling. There you go. I'm idling.
Yeah,
that's essentially what it is. I'm idling and just. I'm not there. Like, I'm not there.
I would look into that.
Well, I am currently trying to go back to therapy.
It helps. I encourage everyone to do it.
Yeah, so, like, I did therapy when I was younger. That's how I found out that I had depression, anxiety. My first therapist was my favorite therapist. When she left the company that I was going to, the office that I was going to, they gave me to somebody else. And I tried with her for a few years, and it just didn't work for me, so I stopped going. And then after I had my son, they recommended me going back to therapy because I already had the pre-existing anxiety and I had the pre-existing depression, so it made it more likely for me to get postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. And those two are really weird. Luckily, I don't feel like I experienced them.
I actually only recently found out about postpartum depression.
Yeah. I don't feel like I experienced them. I feel like I was very in tune with my kid and I was very, like, on it. Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe I experienced, like, postpartum anxiety, where it was like, I wouldn't sleep at night. Okay. I would stay up all night just to, like, watch him and be ready for when he would wake up for a feeding. Like, like that. So, but like, I don't think I experienced postpartum depression. I feel like I was well taken care of in that time, where I didn't have the opportunity to feel that disconnect from my kid. But at the same time, like, I was like 9 years old praying for that little boy, and I got exactly what I asked for. I got a little boy. He got like eyes. He was born in the summer. I'm good. I got exactly what I wanted. God gave me a one-off, and He gave me my kid.
I hope God doesn't bless me with something I prayed for at 8 or 9. When I'm like,
hey, I meant it. I still listen. When I became pregnant, I was like, oh shit, it happened.
I would have forgot. What did I even ask you for again? Like,
so to be fair, when I was 12, 13, no, I was 13 going on 14, when we found out that I had like PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome.
No idea.
So polycystic ovarian syndrome is basically I get multiple cysts on one or both of my ovaries.
Okay, I've heard of that.
It can cause irregular menstrual cycles. It can cause very painful menstruals. And we found out that I had it because I used to get these like crazy intense pain in my lower back to where I couldn't move. And we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. No x-ray was showing anything. My mother took me to a different doctor, and they were like, do a CAT scan on that one. Like, no, I don't think it was a CAT scan. It was like an MRI or something. Or, but they were like, just do something different. A completely different scan, and they found it. And that's what it was. And the doctor literally looked at me, my little 13-year-old face, and went, the likelihood of you becoming a mother, slim to none. Which sucked. Because when I was 10 years old, my 5th grade class did like this reading buddy project where the older class kids went down to like pre-K and kindergarten, we were assigned a kid, and we had to go through books with them, and we had to spend time with this child. And I remember at the age of 10 thinking, yep, I'm gonna be somebody's mama. Like, I wanna be your mama.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm getting old. My next birthday is 32, and like
get out of here! No, you're not.
Yeah, you are not. Yo, I'm mad I got this on camera. Nobody ever believes me. Yeah.
I thought you were my age.
No.
I would have gave you a year older, not like 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I turned.
When this goes off, I'm gonna have to tell you because I don't believe it.
Oh yeah, no, I got you. Here, we can do it. We can do it for the people too. What's that fun of mine?
Listen, we gotta live it right now. Just know I need to check that because I don't believe you.
I got you.
Look at that baby face.
Yeah, I turned.
Look at it. You think that's 32? I don't think that's 32. I feel lied to.
No. No, I was saying like I get like as I'm getting older, I want kids more. I notice it now, and I get little baby fever. Like at Trader Joe's, we have to hand out lollipops and stickers to the kids. It's my favorite part of the job.
Oh my God, that's why I love Halloween as an adult now because I get to hand out candy to kids. They just look so excited.
All right, so hold on. So we're at an hour now. If there's anything you want to tell anybody that has helped you, or or anyone that you want, anything that has helped you, the people that are going through what you're going through, and for people that aren't going through what you're going through, what can you tell them to give them a better understanding, or what message would you want them to leave off with?
So for anyone suffering with depression and anxiety, it's while you're suffering with it, you're also battling it. And you have to remember that you are stronger than it. I started at the age of 13 considering taking my own life, and I am 28 years old. I don't know how I got here, but I am proud that I got here. And you can get there. Like, you don't have to let it rule you. There's you, and then there's your depression, and you are stronger than that shadow. You just need a little extra light. You need the proper support system. If you see the people in your life are not being that support system, you're better off without them. Find the proper support system. And if you have to be your support system, then you got to support you. Because sometimes that's who you got, and that's who's going to hold it down. Because can't nobody love you the way you love you, but can't nobody hate you the way you hate you.
I like that one. That was fun.
So, you got to weigh that out. You got to love you. Do little things. Have a spa day. Buy your favorite wine. Do not buy a full bottle of it. If you are really going through it, get you a little personal one that's a glass. Because that's how we end up, alcoholics. And we don't want that. It's smoke your pipe. Some people put tobacco in the pipe. You know what I mean?
The tobacco.
Well, to be fair, here in New York State, marijuana is legal for recreational use. So, you can't get in trouble if that's your vice.
No, you can't. Thank God.
So if that's the thing that calms you and soothes you, have your blunt before bed. Have your blunt when you start the day. Don't spend the whole day smoking. But find the thing that's not hurting you but helping you.
There you go.
For some people, it is antidepressants. Not for me. I had antidepressants once. To be fair, it wasn't really an antidepressant. I recently found out it was the antipsychotic. They ain't tell me that. They just told me it was going to put me to sleep at night and regulate me. How did you know it was Seroquel?
I don't know. I know a lot about.
I feel attacked because I never said it to him. But it was definitely Seroquel. It was exactly Seroquel.
Because Seroquel is an antipsychotic, but it can do that to you.
Yeah, Seroquel gave me really and I cold turkeyed off Seroquel. Like I didn't like the way it felt. I was taking it consistently for like a month, and it made me feel like someone took me, put me in a cage, and then sat me in the back of my brain and went, "You're gonna watch somebody else live your life. Check it out."
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so I cold turkeyed it. I just stopped taking it, and like the withdrawals were really bad. I remember thinking my skin wasn't mine and like scratching at my neck, saying, "Take it off." Like it's not mine. Take it off. So that's another thing. If you are on antidepressants or antipsychotics, do not cold turkey them. Please slowly get off of your medication. Talk to your psychiatrist or whoever it is that is providing you your medication. Express to them what it is that you are feeling, why you are uncomfortable, what makes you feel weird about taking this medication, and do not request, but tell them you need and want something different. Because at the end of the day, that is your health, that is your body, and you know when something's wrong. They're not inside you. They can only diagnose from the outside. Mm-hmm. For anyone who doesn't understand.
Yeah, like there's probably a family member got someone that has a sister or a daughter with depression or anxiety, or they might not even know enough to even want to look up to even search this, get to this video. But if they do, salute to you. And
for those of you who know someone who goes through this and is not experiencing it yourself, patience and kindness is two of the biggest things you can give us. Because at the end of the day, we're struggling a lot. It looks like we're being lazy. It looks like we're disgusting and we're messy and, we have no motivation and this, that, and the third. But you don't realize that there's this constant battle in our brains of, am I good enough? What am I doing wrong? Why aren't I good enough? Why can't I do this? Can I do that? No, I can't do that. There's this constant beat down, and it does not help when you are beating us down with us. Love is mostly what we need. Sometimes if you see them sitting there, just hug them. You do not know what a hug can do. Your words, we don't need them. Sometimes, not all of us, me personally, need physical connection. And it doesn't have to be anything outside of that hug. Come, squeeze me, pat the top of my head and go, "I'm good, kid." And we're good. Like, that gives me something for the day. That gives me that not serotonin, but dopamine. Ooh, well, you know how much dopamine gets released when you get a hug?
No.
What? It's so much dopamine. That's the reason I love to hug people, and I love to be hugged. The amount of dopamine I get is amazing. And I'm not going to hold you when you are touch deprived and someone hugs you, you can and will cry. Oh my God, has that happened to me? Someone didn't hug me for a week. And then someone hugged me, and I just started bawling. I was like, this feels so good. Just don't stop hugging me.
I had a person, but no, I'm not even gonna say that. I try not to bring up. I try to bring up a decent amount of my personal life without bringing too much.
Right.
Because a lot of people I know will be personally watching this. So
right.
I try to avoid names and all that. But I was gonna say, there's been times where I haven't felt loved, and then I would get a hug from the person that loved me, and then and I would have the same roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, and it's normal, it's natural. But show a little love. A little extra love, and especially during this holiday season, try to remember that holidays aren't happy for everyone. Yeah. Some people are missing their kids, their mothers, their grandparents, their nieces, their nephews, their brothers, their sisters. Not everyone makes it through the year, and remember that you're blessed to have done so.
I like that. All right, we're going to end it off on that then.
See you guys in 2023!
2023, let's go! Oh, by the way, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.